Carson gave us a lot of production. I feel like we can go to that position now with everything that we have there, not just with Kian and with Noah and others that are in that position, but now we have the arrival of Walker Lyons and now Roger Saleapanga. Those guys that have played and started and played a lot of reps at their respective schools with USC and Oregon. I think there's enough now for us to do some really good things, some cool things with the playbook. We can do a lot of whatever. It's pretty much open. We're not tied to just trying to run the ball and try to bring a freshman along. He's a veteran now. Now we can really open it up and find ways to get points on the board, and that's with all the different talent that we have. And then defensively, we got a lot of talent too that we can do defensively with our scheme. But yeah, special teams, all three phases, I feel like can be in a really good spot by the time we get to the fall.
Cannot wait. Spring football around the corner and then fall camp. And before we know it's another season of BYU football. Kalani, appreciate the time and congrats on the 2026 class and looking forward to spring ball here coming up soon.
Love you, Mitch. Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Shop now for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Trying to make sense of the markets? Looking to diversify out of all the craziness? Thinking about tangible assets like precious metals? Listen to The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels right here on KSL at 3 p.m. Sunday afternoons. Stay up to date on retirement trends, how the IRA rollover process works, and why investors are turning to physical gold. Kenny is a national talk show host with decades of experience in the markets. Tune in for Kenny's Insights and The Gold Show this Sunday afternoon at 3.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday here on KSL News Radio. That was the head coach of the Cougars, Kalani Sitake. Good stuff from Kalani. That full interview's up on the podcast on Cougar Sports Saturday or Cougar Tracks, wherever you get your podcast. Spring football starts 20 days from today, February 27th, same date as last year. So same date, but just crazy to think that football is around the corner, Kyle. We got the calendar here for spring football, the 15 practices. Tentatively, they're planning to have the alumni game on Friday, April 3rd. That'd be spring ball day 15. So we're about to have football in our lives again.
It just seems like football is like 365 now, Mitch. And
It's wonderful.
I'm all for it. I love it, especially amid a losing streak in hoops. You know, it's nice to be able to look forward, and you're like, wow, when's fall camp start? You know, like that's how I feel. So spring ball is a nice little breath of fresh air. I need to get that Pop-Tart taste out of my mouth, man. I'm ready to move on to 2026.
Wait, you want that taste gone?
I want it gone.
It was a great taste.
It was a lackluster, less satisfying taste than a playoff bid.
Okay.
Because I'm still not over it. Still not over it, Mitch, and I have high hopes for this team. I feel like this team, with the youth that was featured last year, Mitch, and the changes that have taken place this offseason, the talent infusion, the coaching staff changes, BYU fans should have high expectations. The only thing that I would say is of concern this season for me with the return of all these guys, because you're bringing back so much talent, and the fact that guys like LJ and Keanu and Isaiah Glasker are all choosing to come back for this 2026 campaign, it's just the consistency season to season is so hard for a team. And so obviously, like, this is going to be a new roster, a new team, new coaching staff, new vibes and everything like that. But, you know, to be able to win double-digit, you know, times in a row now, just to be able to do that, you know, make it back to Arlington would be awesome. The next step is to make it to Arlington and win that game. Yep. But I think that, you know, just, you know, penciling them in right now is a hard thing for me to do, even with the talent, just because, you know, you might trip up here or there.
Well, I think that the Big 12, I think there's, you know, 5 or 6 teams in the league that I would say probably could be preseason top 25 caliber. So I think the league at the top end should be pretty good next season. But I think with BYU, though, they've proven that they can do it together multiple years. I think that's what caused the excitement. It's not just one season. It's not just 2025. It's 2024. It's 2025. And both of those seasons, you look at a lot of the key positions, it was done with different guys. And BYU has won games with different personnel. Even when LJ's out in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, you can still find a way to put together a win with Javesa Damuni and Enoch Nawahine. They always find answers. Now, Texas Tech didn't have an answer for. And that's the challenge that they're gunning for, is to try to get over that mountaintop. And they don't play Texas Tech in the regular season. But I get the sense that we're going to see a rematch. I mean, way too early look at it. It's February 7th right now, but I think those two teams are on a collision course for Arlington. And honestly, I think that's what BYU wants, is to take them down, because Texas Tech loaded up once again. I think they've gotten maybe even better. I think BYU's gotten better too, and that would set up an awesome storyline for the Big 12 entering next season. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get some more BYU basketball. It's a game day for the Cougs, getting ready to take on the Houston Cougars tonight. We'll talk about the matchup next here on Cougar Sports Saturday. It's powered by KSL Sports.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The as yet unknown kidnappers of the 84-year-old missing mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie looked like they have no intention of setting up a way to communicate to them, says ABC News contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett on the physical search.
If you go away from Nancy's house, and all those houses are difficult to see between them because of the desert and the landscape of the desert, but there are, for lack of a better term, there are dry river beds or creek beds that run behind her house. Did they walk through there and back? I'm trying to figure out how they got away and into the house without anybody ever seeing a car or anything else.
No apology or saying he made a mistake amid outrage from Republicans and Democrats alike over a racist video posted on President Trump's social media page and left up for 12 hours yesterday. The video depicted the Obamas as apes. President Trump said on Air Force One last night that he didn't see that part of the video.
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things, and I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine.
Seldom have Republicans been so willing to criticize President Trump. Their statements piling up. Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio posting, the release of racist images of former President Barack and First Lady Michelle Obama is offensive. Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania calling the president's post a grave failure of judgment, adding it's absolutely unacceptable from anyone, most especially from the President of the United States. A clear and unequivocal apology is owed. The president has not apologized.
ABC's Rachel Scott. Monday, the House Oversight Committee will hear from Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, testifying virtually from the prison where she is serving 20 years for sex trafficking. At the Olympics in Cortina, American skier Lindsey Vonn completed another downhill training run despite tearing her left ACL. You're listening to ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, our credit card bill came and it's higher than last month.
How? We haven't charged anything.
Paying the minimum isn't enough. It will keep getting higher until we take control. We need to go to 47fastcash.com.
With our bad credit?
47fastcash.com can help any credit type get approved for up to $5,000 in minutes.
Take control and get the money you need at 47fastcash.com. 47fastcash.com.
I've been telling you all about the secret war on our cash and the free report you can receive a copy of by contacting Swiss America at 800-289-2646. I'd also like to encourage you to subscribe to their podcast on YouTube. Just search Swiss America Trading. The podcast can provide you a ton of vital information and financial news in the challenging and uncertain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about BRICS, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
Good afternoon. It's 1:03 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top local story this hour. A man was taken to the hospital after boarding a TRAX train in Salt Lake City with stab wounds. UTA Public Information Officer Gavin Gustafson says another passenger alerted transit police after the man boarded at the library TRAX station at about 7:30 this morning with wounds. Officers met the train at the courthouse station where the victim received medical care before going to the hospital. The stabbing did not happen on UTA property and remains under investigation. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A federal judge is blocking the Trump administration's attempt to freeze billions of dollars for a critical rail tunnel project under the Hudson River between New York and New Jersey.
Sources tell ABC News that Trump told Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer he would release the tunnel funding if Schumer agreed to have Congress rename New York Penn Station and Washington's Dulles Airport after him. The president on Air Force One Friday night.
Chuck Schumer suggested that to me about changing the name of Penn Station to Trump Station. Dulles Airport is really separate. Dulles Airport is really not too involved with Congress.
The judge ruling unfreezing funding saves 1,000 construction jobs.
That's ABC's Chuck Sivertson. Although Utah has a warm winter this year, the coldest cold snap in the country is heading for the I-95 corridor this weekend.
This extends not only from Maine, but all the way down into the mid-Atlantic. Single-digit to teens wind chills down there. But for New York, the coldest air in the last 3 years. Now, it hits Buffalo and Pittsburgh today. That Arctic front comes rushing through, brings the worst of the air into New York City late tonight, early tomorrow morning. That's when the wind chills will be the coldest, and they could drop down with wind gusts to 30 or even 40 miles per hour into the teens below zero for New York City by early tomorrow morning.
That's ABC News meteorologist Greg Dutra. Coming up, a warm weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 1:05.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. That crash on SR 126 in Layton has cleared up and traffic is flowing freely. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, preparing to serve or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone. For nearly 60 years, Mr. Mac helping you look your best for all of life's events. Highs this weekend are in the 50s before cooling down a little bit to the 40s the rest of the week. Right now, it's fair and 55 degrees. I'm Isabella Sosa, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Ritchie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Number 16 BYU versus number 8 Houston tonight at the Marriott Center. Tip-off at 8:30 p.m. right here on KSL News Radio and ESPN. I was thinking about it. Mitch Harper, Kyle Ireland here at Broadcast House in Salt Lake City. KSL News Time, 1:08 p.m. I was thinking about there's only 5 home games left, Kyle. 4 of the 5 are going to be 8:30 p.m. tips or later. The rest of the way, we got one early tip next Saturday. We'll have a 2 p.m. tip next week for Colorado on the Day of Love, Valentine's Day. And that'll be Jimmer Fredette's retirement ceremony at the Marriott Center next week, so that's going to be awesome. next week. But a lot of nighttime games at the Marriott Center to close out the homestand for the Cougars. But BYU, of course, has lost 4 of its last 5. And it begs the question, Kyle, is it time to hit the panic button on this season for BYU basketball, or are you staying the course and saying they're going to turn this thing around, they're going to make a run in March?
TBD. I'm going to wait and give that verdict after tonight.
Tonight tells the story then for you.
Yeah, if they lose this game, I'm going to give my score prediction later on today.
Sure.
But, yeah, if they lose this game, Mitch, I think that it's time for Kevin Young to make some serious changes with the rotation, maybe look at the starting lineup. They just need a spark. They need something to change. And we talked about the issues at the top of the show where this team defensively is not performing the way they need to. They're not getting a lot of bench scoring at the end of that rotation. And you're putting too much weight on the big three. And even with the big three, if they all pop off and have excellent games, you're expecting, that to be good enough at this point to be able to pull off a win. And it just hasn't been in a number of these games here in this 5-game stretch because, BYU really is missing due to injury. You look at some of the absences that you thought you weren't going to have at the beginning of the year. I look at Dawson Baker. I said it earlier today. I think that his absence is massive. Just that scoring punch that he could give you off of the bench would have been huge for BYU this season. It would have been able to take off some of the pressure that has been on that big three. But I also think that's the reason why you're having some performances like you've had from Moo Davis and some of these other guys off the bench. I mean, is there anybody on the bench, Mitch, right now that you trust to get you 6 points a game, 8 points a game? I don't see anybody right now where I'm like, yeah, you can rely on them.
Maybe Boscovich, he can get you 6 because he's going to be a quick trigger. He's going to go in and
it's like KY said earlier in the season. He's always good for 1 bad 3 a game.
He's going to, and I think he's done better. I think Boscovich has played better. But you're right. I mean, I on that bench right now, there's no one that I just count on every single night. I will say, though, to follow up on what you said about tonight's game, I will say, again, this might sound a little moral victory-ish, but if BYU loses, but it's down to the wire, I could come away, I could entertain a thought where I still feel pretty good.
A moral victory and a good loss?
And I say that because Houston, I think, I was looking at Bart Torvik's advanced predictive ratings, and it's kind of like Ken Pomeroy. And Bart Torvik, what's cool about his stats is that you can filter it based on a certain date. So from the start of Big 12 play, from January 3rd to today, Houston's the number 1 team in the country. They've been hammering teams. So again, you're going up against a team that's got the profile since Big 12 play started as the best team in the land, and no one's talking about them. So you kind of get this thought of, like, that Houston, people I think naturally just assume they've taken a step down from last year, which was a national runner-up team. They should have probably beat Florida. They were knocking on the doorstep of winning a title. But I'd argue Houston might have more top-end talent now than they did last year because Kingston Flemings is going to be a top 5 NBA draft pick. And then they got Chris Sinak, who's from the Link Academy. I saw him in person when he was in high school. He was in one of those Hoop Fest events down at Pleasant Grove when AJ was with Utah Prep. He's awesome. And so Houston, again, has the makeup of like the number 1 team in the land. So if BYU lost this game, but it was like competitive back and forth for 40 minutes and you played good basketball, but you just came up short against a really good team, I could still feel good about this team even after a loss. Where I would start to hit the panic button, circling back to that question, is if they do lose big tonight. If they get hammered, and it's a game like Kansas a week ago where you're down 20 at the half, or against Arizona where it takes a miraculous comeback attempt to make it look closer than it is, that's going to be concerning if they get down big. But if this is back and forth for 40 minutes, like Houston's just so good. The thing about Houston, what makes me pause about this game tonight, they know who they are even with young stars. BYU right now doesn't know who they are right now. And that's kind of crazy to think that the identity of this team is a little bit missing at times. I really thought the identity, that the big 3 are going to show up. That's no question. But you just don't know what you can count on the defensive end right now from BYU. And Houston is excellent in turnover margin. They're +7 in turnover margin, number 1 in the Big 12. BYU's in conference play 14th in the league in turnover margin. So this is a BYU team right now that doesn't take care of possessions. I thought they did a good job against Kansas. But the problem in that Kansas game was they gave up a bunch of points off those turnovers in the first half. They took care of it in the second half. They started to make a little bit of a run, but they bury themselves early in games. They've got to fix that tonight. And it's just tough to ask that when you're going up against a Houston program that since joining the Big 12, they've only lost 5 games. They're the 2-time reigning Big 12 champs. They have stepped into the toughest basketball league in America and dominated this league, and they've only got 1 loss in league play right now. Now, with Houston, I will say, I think their schedule's been relatively light. Their toughest game, they did lose at Texas Tech, and they gave up a lot of points. I think this Houston team is more prone to giving up big offensive numbers than the previous teams. Like last year when BYU faced Houston in the Big 12 championship and in Houston, it was over at the tip. Like, I mean, they suffocated you. I still think BYU's offense can get going against Houston, but defensively, they've looked really good. The Cougs have, Houston Cougars, that is, giving up 55 points or less in their last 2 Big 12 meetings. So, I'm not trying to have an exit and say, oh, you can lose and still feel good because the expectations were so high for this team. But I think mentally, I've kind of lowered the ceiling a little bit for this team right now, where they're currently at. And I just want to see them play better on the defensive end and play a complete 40 minutes. And if it just doesn't work out at the end, like, tip your cap to Houston. I can still feel good about this BYU team. But if they get hammered, Kyle, then I'm absolutely smacking that panic button. I'm going, any game could be an L for this group.
I think the Texas Tech game that you just brought up is a really good point, Mitch, because Texas Tech a couple of weeks ago made Houston play their game as opposed to having it be on Houston's terms.
Mm-hmm.
If BYU can do that tonight, then I'm going to feel a lot better about the result regardless. That's the only thing that I would say with a loss is if BYU is able to make it a BYU type game where Houston's not suffocating them on the defensive end. It's in the high 60s, low 70s kind of area of the scoreboard. And if they're able to have, like Texas Tech, a shootout kind of a game, that's where BYU, I think, can find success and win, especially with the big 3. If they're having, games where they're just, each on fire and you can kind of ride AJ and not, lose out on those big 35-point performances that he's had where you're looking back and you're like, man, we lost a big game from AJ. You don't want to waste those opportunities because, this is a one-and-done season for AJ, and you've got to take advantage of that. BYU has the talent to beat Houston. It's just whether or not they can put it all together. And I think the defensive point that we've both made today is massive. They have to play better on the defensive end tonight if they're going to be in this game.
Well, and the thing is, too, with Houston, and we'll talk a lot more about it coming up in hour number 3, Houston, they are so good. I talked about this on Cougar Tracks. They are so good at getting like the 50-50 balls, where it's just like it's a loose ball, and if you can get it, you can maintain momentum. I thought Oklahoma State on Wednesday night with Roy and Curry, they did an outstanding job of extending possessions. Even though the total rebound number ended up at 34 apiece, I thought Oklahoma State in the second half did a fantastic job on the glass. BYU, I thought, struggled. There was a possession where BYU got it down to 5, and they need to stop. Oklahoma State misses a shot, rebounds up in the air. Oklahoma State comes down with it, finds Roy for an open 3. He buries it. And it was just like, you can't have moments like that for this BYU team right now. I still think BYU is a team that has a little bit of margin for error because of the talent that they have, but it's because you always just feel like they're going to make a run. They're always going to be in a game. And that's a wonderful luxury to have with this team. And that's where you go, if this thing starts clicking, it can get back on track and really operate at a high level once again. But time's ticking. It's February 7th. 1 month from today, it's the regular season finale. You got 4 exact weeks left in the regular season, and then it's Kansas City, and then it's the NCAA tournament. And so not much time's left. You can't just say, oh, yes, there's a ton of basketball remaining, but time is going fast. You got to get it going now, and it just is unfortunate that you feel like you're in a must-win against a team that only knows winning, and that's the Houston Cougars. But tip-off tonight, 8:30 p.m. at the Marriott Center. Let's get a check-in around the Big 12, scores around the conference today, maybe a look ahead to BYU's schedule next week here on Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL News Radio.
This Valentine's Day, it's time to fall in love again with simpler living and thoughtful design. A home built for the life you want now. Ovation Homes creates homes for active adults 55 and better, designed to make life easier, more comfortable, and more enjoyable every day. Ovation Homes is hosting a Fall in Love with Your Home event, Valentine's Day, with an open house at their Syracuse and West Point locations. Join the KSL Greenhouse Show live at West Point, 8 until 11, or Sadie's Glen in Syracuse from 11 until 1. Enjoy a sweet treat courtesy of Waffle Love. Grab a friend, family member, or your sweetheart to see your next home you'll truly love living in. Browse stunning homes. Imagine your new floor plan and furniture for relaxing and carefree days. If you're ready to downsize without compromise, you want a home that truly fits your lifestyle. Start now at Ovation Homes Fall in Love event. Your best years start here. OvationHomesUtah.com for details.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror, I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness.
Because, I mean, he attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
Amanda, I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we have got permission to give you 15% off at andcollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's Ann Collar, ANDcollar.com.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. At home or at work, we'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Who doesn't love winning? Right now, at KSL.com/win, you'll find exciting contests with prizes you actually want. tickets, gift cards, and more. It's fast, it's free, and you can enter in just a few clicks. New contests are added all the time, so there's always another chance to win big. Don't miss out. Visit ksl.com/win today and enter to win. That's ksl.com/win.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Busy day in the Big 12 Conference today. Basketball. Kansas is in action right now against the Utah Utes at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas is up 38-31 with about 50 seconds to go in the first half. Here's an interesting score. BYU's next opponent after today, coming up on Tuesday, BYU's going to walk into a hornet's nest in Waco against Baylor. Rob Wright's probably thrilled about that one. That's going to be a supercharged environment at Foster Pavilion. But Baylor's on the road.
I wish you would have said Bear Den instead of Hornet's Nest.
I missed that. Thank you.
It was just right there.
It was a Bear Den. What's a semi-pro with Will Ferrell? What, didn't he wrestle a bear in semi-pro?
Seen that movie.
You didn't see Will Ferrell?
I need to. I've wanted to.
It's a good movie. Baylor is on the road in Ames at Iowa State, 45-44. Iowa State, the 7th-ranked Cyclones, only up by 1 with about – they're at the under-16 media timeout in the second half at Hilton Coliseum. So Baylor maybe turning things around a little bit, and then also basically beat the game to decide who's in the cellar of the Big 12. Kansas State, 51, TCU, 47 in Fort Worth. Man, TCU struggling. That same TCU team that gave BYU a run for its money. And see, that's kind of a little bit of the issue, too, with BYU. You kind of size up the record right now. BYU's 5-3 in Big 12 play. They hit the midway point today. Their wins, when you dive into it, 2 of them are against Utah, who's the last place team. They're the 16th place team right now. Another win is against Kansas State, who's 15th. TCU's another win. So, I mean, you've got a bulk of your wins, and then Arizona State, who's also in the back half of the league. So all 5 of your wins are not that great. Same can be said for Houston, other than their Texas Tech win at home. But that's where a little bit of some questions about BYU kind of rise, because even within those 5 wins, there were some close calls. Utah and Salt Lake was a close call. TCU was a close call. These teams aren't that great, but maybe it's the Big 12. Every game's a grinder. I also think, too, Kyle, and I asked Kevin Young about this last Tuesday, I believe. I think there's something different, too, with BYU this year in terms of they're going into venues where they are a circled opponent. The last 2 years in the Big 12, they've been kind of out of sight, out of mind. They've kind of went into sleepy gyms and haven't been kind of a circled opponent. And I think that came to forefront for me at Kansas last week, because when Bill Self goes to the podium, and Bill Self's been coaching for 23 years, and he said that the Allen Fieldhouse crowd in the first half against BYU was as good of an atmosphere as he's ever seen, it made me think, whoa, what are we doing here? Like, BYU's got to rise to the occasion. They're going into hostile gyms. Like, they are a targeted team because AJ gets so much pub. People look at these opportunities against BYU to where, hey, I can elevate my profile. I can make a name for myself when I'm taking down AJ and BYU. I think there's something to that to be said about that, too. And, look, BYU still got to execute, and they're still winning games. I know lately they've been struggling. But I think that's something that I think plays a role in some of BYU's struggles in Big 12 play as well.
I mean, that's the exact situation that occurred on Saturday last week. You saw it firsthand at Kansas, and the fact that, I brought up to you earlier, there were comments made about how AJ was defending Darren Peterson last week. Jalen Rose had some comments on that, and just the focus that has been on AJ whenever BYU's on TV, whenever they're in the opposing gym. To the schedule, Mitch, that's why this Houston game I think is so critical, because you talk about their wins being against down opponents in the Big 12 standings. You've got Baylor, who's at the bottom end. You've got Colorado at the bottom end. And then you've got Arizona and Iowa State, who are ranked 1-7 right now. So you've got two of these games that you should hypothetically chalk up as a win after today's game, but then you're back at it against two of the top 10 programs in the country. So Houston's a good team, but you've got to be able to show that you can be in, not just in those games, but be able to pull off victory in one of them, because not many chances are left, and BYU still lacks that really, really good win.
BYU 0-4 in games where they're an underdog heading in tonight. They're prognosticated as a underdog by about 1.5 heading into tonight's game against the Houston Cougars. Next week, BYU takes on Baylor on Tuesday in Waco, and then next Saturday, Colorado. That's probably, I would say, the easiest game remaining on the schedule. And then it's at Arizona, it's Iowa State. Life in the Big 12 is not easy, but this is what BYU signed up for. But it does highlight the importance of tonight's game, because this could go from a 3-game skid to 5 quick. And you're going, whoa, this is not what BYU is accustomed to. So big game tonight for BYU against the Houston Cougars. Let's take a break. We'll get some BYU football, and you'll also hear from a BYU basketball signee next.
AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. How do they do that? By working with homeowners, builders, or directly with contractors, combining years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want, or what your client wants, and you know it's not going to be cookie cutter. This is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days, with supplies in stock. Visit the brand new location at 3678 South 7th West Suite 100 to shop and pick up at your convenience with ready stock. Get one step closer to completing your dream renovation. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
It's 1:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Isabella Sosa. KSL's top local story this hour. The Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office is not going to pursue charges against the office accused of shooting and killing Malachi Portwood. Malachi was a teenager with autism. Since then, law enforcement have been working on their response to tense situations involving someone with autism. The Autism Council of Utah says they've been working on training these first responders on how they could approach the situation. Board member Michelle Heil says it brings real peace of mind for families.
For families to know that their local city police department and officers have been trained, I think is peace of mind for the community that they live in.
The council has also been working on distributing supply kits to first responders that could help an individual with autism. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A racist video on President Donald Trump's social media page depicting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes has been deleted after widespread backlash.
Mr. Trump on Air Force One Friday night said he made no mistake and wouldn't apologize.
I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part.
Not shocked, she says, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, California Democrat.
He gets his joy from being a racist and being brazen about it.
The Senate's only black Republican, South Carolina's Tim Scott, called the video the most racist thing he's seen out of this White House.
That's ABC's Chuck Sivertson. Coming up, a dry weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 1:32.
How do they get so excited about 50 yards?
Think of what you could sew with that.
But you need a really great sewing machine, a Bernina.
Get Bernina sewing, serging, and embroidery machines and accessories at fantastic prices. The Bernina Super Weekend Sale.
Don't miss the Dave's Bernina Super Weekend Sale at their Provo and St. George locations. Now until February 14th.
Save hundreds to thousands of dollars on all new Bernina machines.
0% interest for 48 months on certain machines.
Even the most advanced sewing machine in the world, the Bernina 990, is on sale.
Incredible savings on top of the line special event demo machines that come with full 5-year warranties. Take advantage of 20% off Bernina and Burnett presser feet.
Dave's Bernina just received a limited amount of school buybacks in excellent condition with 2-year warranties. With a doorbuster price of $4.99. Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. The crash southbound I-15 in Murray was causing delays, but it's mostly cleared up and traffic is picking back up again. This weekend's highs are in the 50s with lows in the 30s and a 0% chance of rain. Right now, it's fair and 57 degrees. I'm Isabella Sosa, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland with you on this Saturday, February 7th. Earlier this week, I had the chance to catch up and check in on some BYU basketball signees. Timpview High product. Didn't realize, well, I knew, but Timpview High is one of the best high school basketball teams in the country. Top 20 team in some national rankings. Had the chance to catch up with Dean Rickert, star player who has made a massive climb in recent recruiting rankings. With Rivals.com, he jumped 100 spots in their rankings. He's a top 50 recruit nationally in the class of 2026. I caught up with Rickert and checked in on him and discussed his high school season and his expectations joining the BYU program next season. Is it kind of surreal? Think that you're kind of heading down to the final stretch of games here in your high school career?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's gone by so fast. Everyone always says it was going to go by fast, but you don't believe it until it happens. So it's crazy to be here.
What's been the most rewarding part so far in this senior season? I'm sure there's some high aspirations to finish the job and goals and trophies and titles that you guys want to claim, but so far, what's been maybe the most rewarding aspect of this senior year?
I think the most rewarding asset is just being here with my team, and I'm glad I didn't transfer anywhere else and go anywhere else in the state, because I'm glad I'm here with my guys, and that's really the most important thing to me, is that I'm here with my guys and we're going to go make a run at state and win a championship.
And that was, that's a good point, because some guys would go to a lot of senior year, maybe prep school, whatever it may be. Why was that a point of emphasis for you to do it, hometown, be here at the home school?
It was just important to me to finish it out with my best friends on my team, and really, because we didn't win state my first 3 years, we have to get it done this last year, and that's just really important to me, just being connected with my friends, because these are memories and things that I'll remember the rest of my life.
What have been areas on the court in your senior year that you've really tried to elevate your game as you get ready for college basketball around the corner? It'll be sooner rather than later that comes up. You probably want to be grounded in the moment right now, but what have been areas that you wanted to improve in this senior season in high school? Some
of the biggest things are just defense and rebounding. Going into games, just kind of focusing on defense and rebounding, everything else will come along with it. And I think I've improved on both those parts of my game, and so it's been fun to just focus on that.
Do you kind of pick things from watching BYU at all and think, or get pointers I don't even know if you can talk to the coaches or not, but just like things to kind of almost get you as ready as possible for when college basketball and you enroll, to be as ready as you can to kind of hit the ground running at BYU?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll take some stuff from BYU, just watching them and kind of watching where I'll fit next year, and just working on that kind of stuff. And like, it's a little different just with the like offense like here in BYU,
Sure.
but for sure, like, I'll look at like Richie Saunders and just kind of like work on some of the same stuff that he's really good at. So that's kind of my mindset looking at that.
How fun has it been to watch this BYU team? Every year in college basketball will be different, and there'll be different guys next year, but just each year, last season with Yegor, this year with AJ and Richie, just your thoughts on the way this coaching staff can really develop personnel and this the style of play that they put out on the floor.
It's really impressive. It's been so fun to watch this year because, like obviously they like have a great team, or like great players on their team, but like they're figuring out how to play together good, and just kind of watching Kevin Young kind of put together the offense, put together the defense, kind of put all those great players like into their roles. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see that because we haven't had that at BYU in a long time.
How involved, and I bring this up with you brought up Richie Saunders. Like, do you kind of reach out to him at all for any pointers, because he's in his final season? Pick his brain at all, or anyone in this current program at BYU to kind of pick their brain and learn things?
I haven't, but I should. Like, I've reached out to like some of the coaches at BYU. I haven't talked to Richie at all since the season started or anything, but I should. That's a good idea.
I'm curious, Dean, how rewarding is it to you to start to get more, I think, national recognition? Yesterday, Rivals, you're one of the biggest risers, up 100 spots. I don't know if that's something that you're chasing, but to actually get more national respect for what you've been putting out on the court, how rewarding is that? And just maybe motivation does it serve for you to keep getting better?
I mean, yeah, it's nice. I always try to look at it like rankings don't really matter because all the rankings are bogus. But like it's nice to get like some kind of recognition, and it's like they're seeing like improvements of my game. But that's cool to see.
How talking with Coach Kitchen about you and Will. What would you say about Will, where he's improved in his game? Because it seems like just watching from afar, he's evolved a lot. He had that great dunk against Layton Christian Academy. Where's some of the areas do you think Will's improved in his game?
Will's improved like every part of his game. I feel like he's gotten so much better, and that's just like a testament to like him working and really like wanting to get better at a lot of aspects of his game. And I think a big one is shooting. He's been able to shoot the ball really well this year, and that's been like a huge jump for him.
And last thing for you, Dean, again, appreciate this time to check in. Just how excited are you to be at BYU, and just the goals and aspirations you have when you join the program in April, correct? Mm-hmm. Just goals that you have when you arrive at campus and be at BYU.
I think I'm really excited. Like, first of all, I'm really excited. It's going to be super hard, but my goal is just to work as hard as I can and kind of like put my head down in the work. Like, obviously still have fun, have fun doing it, but it's going to be hard. So I'm going to put my head down and work as hard as I ever have, and just kind of work my way up, and come in as a freshman, but don't act like a freshman, you know.
And that's Dean Rickert, Timpview High star BYU basketball signee. I also caught up with his high school teammate Will Openshaw, who also, like Dean, a BYU basketball signee. Here's my conversation with Will Openshaw. Since you signed and committed to BYU, where do you feel like you've grown the most as a basketball player during the senior year at Timpview?
I think lots of things have gotten better. I think learning how to be a leader better. I'm not perfect or great at it, and I'm still working really hard. But I think I've come a long way from where I was. Like I said, I'm not the best yet. I have a long way to go for sure. But I think just finding ways to push myself in practice and to be an example, good example on and off the court. I'm not always perfect, but I try my best. So.
How rewarding is the feeling when you have like a highlight dunk like you did against Layton Christian last month? Just big plays like that. How fulfilling and rewarding are those moments to almost highlight the growth that you are making each and every day?
Yeah, it's rewarding for sure. I mean, to see your progress and everything that you worked for really just like pay off it's rewarding, just like anything else, like lifting weights and seeing muscles. Obviously, I don't have a ton of those yet, but I mean, yeah, it's nice to see it for sure. So, yeah.
I'm curious, Will, looking at I think you were at the BYU Utah game, I believe, or a couple weeks ago at the Marriott Center. Been at some BYU games. Your thoughts on just what goes to your mind when you watch BYU basketball, and when you think, man, I'm going to be part of that. You know, when the time comes. Just your thoughts when you watch Kevin Young's program operate in games this year.
It's exciting. It's super exciting. I think the community here, especially, they love their basketball. They love BYU, and to be a part of that and someone that they're supporting and stuff, it makes me want to put on. Especially it's my hometown, so it really is that driving, like another driving factor to work hard and be successful. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity that I have, because I know I'm extremely blessed. So,
has being a BYU signee been maybe almost like a bullseye for you in games? I mean, your team already, Timpview, you guys are nationally ranked, one of the top teams in the country, so that naturally is going to bring a lot of attention and teams want to play their best. But for when players go one-on-one or with you with matchups, they're trying to bring their best going up against the BYU guys. That tried to level you up in games, knowing that you got to bring it every single night, knowing that you're a BYU signee and what that comes with.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of maybe edge to the other side from having that label or that name or whatever, and it's fun, it's cool. I wouldn't want it any other way. It's definitely exciting before a game to know, okay, this dude's they're probably coming after me. I've seen it a couple times for sure. But I mean, we have a lot of threats on the team. I want to give a shout out to my guy Lincoln Holcomb and Jackson Palmer. They're both great. I think they're a little overlooked. They hustle, they do the dirty work, and without my teammates, I wouldn't be half the player I am. So.
And as this season progresses and your basketball career continues to progress, what are areas you want to continue to improve each and every day?
I think on the court, I've really gotten better at. I haven't shown it a ton, but my mid-range shooting, compared to especially a couple years ago, I think I've grown it a lot. I'm not perfect by any means, but I think that's something I've really developed, and it helps open other things up, like the three or even stuff closer to the basket. It just gives me more things to go to, moves to go to, and more opportunities to score.
And what again is your timeline for when you plan to enroll at BYU? Because I believe you're planning on serving a mission. Is that correct first?
Yeah, so I plan on serving a mission for my church, and I'll leave either when school gets out or more towards the summer. But I plan on I think it's 2028, I believe. I'll come back for spring. I'll do that summer training with them and get ready to go for the Cougs.
Any hopes of a spot you'd want to serve a mission in, country or anywhere in the States?
That's a good question. I think there would be lots of cool places. I don't know. I'm not the best language learner. I've tried a couple. I think I could do it for sure, but it'd definitely take a lot of practice. I don't know. I think stateside would be cool, somewhere in like the South. I've been there a couple times. I think it's super cool out there. Stateside would be cool, but really just anywhere to go meet new people and stuff would be fun.
No question. And I'm curious, going back to the core last few moments here, I want to get your thoughts on, from your perspective, where has Dean improved the most in his game this year, you think, from his teammate?
That's a good question. He's always been a really good shooter, but he's been phenomenal, and he's like, I mean, you guys have seen it, like that he's deadly. I think he's really good. He's a really good teammate, and I think that because like you said about that target on your back or whatever, I think he even more so has one. And I think the way he handles it is really special, and it's a good example for me. I haven't always been super, I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm super good, but I haven't always been a guy that people look at a ton. So, like, earning that spotlight and coming into it, I think he's been a good example of how to deal with it. And that's what I really appreciate him, even just as a friend. Hang out, we practice and stuff on the basketball court, but we're hanging out all the time off the court. And so I think he's a really good person. I look up to him in that way. But yeah, I think he's gotten really good at honestly everything, defense, shooting, like you name it. I think he's improved. He's always in the gym working, so props to him.
That's Tim View star Will Openshaw, BYU basketball signee. We'll see him in a couple years after he serves his mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Then he'll enroll at BYU. Kind enough to catch up with me, and appreciate Tim View High head coach Brad Kitchen for setting up those chats for me and getting the chance to check in on those local standouts who are going to be future BYU basketball players. Taking a break, we'll get to Super Bowl thoughts. Super Bowl 60 as a former Coug is gearing up for the big game, and a whole lot more here on Cougar Sports Saturday. It's powered by KSL Sports.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction, lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. You've heard me talk now for years about the Connecticut soft water system that we have in our home. As we head into the colder weather, if you're dealing with dry and itchy skin, do you notice your skin is cracking? It's uncomfortable, and the lotion doesn't seem to give you the relief you need? Hard water may be a hidden contributor to that pain and discomfort of dry, itchy skin. I've got Monty here from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer and an expert in overcoming challenges with hard water here in Utah.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. When you shower in hard water, the minerals don't rinse away completely, forming a film in your skin, leaving you feeling tight, dry, and constantly itching.
So the hard water minerals are essentially leaving a sticky residue on my body and even in my hair?
Exactly. Connecticut removes the minerals before they touch your skin, leaving you feeling silky, smooth, and comfortable.
Do what I did and stop buying expensive lotions and start treating the source of the problem. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What most people don't realize is this. If you got government Obamacare health insurance again, especially here in Utah, you're not just overpaying a premium, you're carrying most of the risk yourself. At My Policy Quote, yes, I can help reduce premiums. In fact, many families are seeing around 47% savings, even more on gold level plans. But the real issue shows up when life happens. A doctor visit, a lab work, an ER trip. The moment you hand over that blue card or any big box insurance, that's when prices jump. And with families suffering with deductibles now reaching $20,000, you're paying all of the out-of-pocket long before the insurance starts to help. My name's Mike at My Policy Quote, and I work with private insurance based on your health, not your income, so you're not forced into a one-size-fits-all coverage. That means lower overall costs, access to national PPO networks, and plans designed around how families actually use care. If you pay your own health insurance, self-employed or small businesses, call me, Mike, today. 385-367-6779. Again, that's 385-367-6779. Or visit mypolicyquote.com. That's mypolicyquote.com to get started now.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland with you. Coming up on Sunday, tomorrow, Super Bowl 60. New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks. One former Coug is going to be in action, Kyrus Tonga. So happy for Kyrus. He's making an impact with those Patriots. He's had an impactful playoff run. He started in 8 games this season for New England. Your thoughts, Kyle, on Kyrus reaching the Super Bowl with the Pats and just this matchup in general?
Yeah, I think it's awesome for him personally, and great for BYU to put out a graphic, be able to have a rep in the Super Bowl. That's always nice. But, yeah, Kyrus, I was high on him coming out of BYU back in the 21 draft and ended up falling into the 7th round and, has had a hard time for the first couple of years finding a landing spot. But it seems like he's found one here with the Patriots. And my favorite thing and the thing that I hope to see tomorrow in that game, Mitch, is I need Kyrus Tonga lined up as fullback.
Yep.
I need that on the goal line, and I need to see a touchdown there with Kyrus lead blocking there for the Pats. That would make the Super Bowl awesome for me.
He was in that formation at BYU in the, what they call it, the scrum formation. That's right. It was scrum formation, they called it, and Kyrus lined up in that. So he did that at BYU too, but that would be awesome if he somehow got like a touchdown.
Be great.
Imagine if he got like a touchdown and then maybe had a sack. He has a case
like
to be
Super Bowl MVP. Oh my God.
He has a case to be Super Bowl MVP. We need that in our lives. Do you think though there's any chance the Patriots pull off the upset though? Because the Seahawks have been an absolute wagon in the playoffs. Yeah. But part of me just, maybe I'm having fears of, I don't know, maybe the Patriots just, they always register fear for me because I think of, as a Raider fan, of the tuck roll and just they're always lucky.
You've been haunted
and
for 20
the fact
years,
that they're already back. Like I was enjoying Gerard Mayo as their head coach. I was enjoying them being down and out. And now Drake May's got them back on top already. May's been kind of banged up, though, so we'll see how healthy he is. But do you think there's any chance the Pats and Kyrus and New England can actually upset the Seattle team?
Yeah, I saw May came off the injury report today, so he looks like he's good to go. But, yeah, I saw somebody tweet Mitch earlier this week. They were like, yeah, we got the Chiefs out of the Super Bowl, only to have the Patriots come back in their place. It's just like all these AFC teams are haunted by it. But, yeah, I think that there's a chance. I've been super impressed by the Seahawks and their run so far. And Drake May, he was right there with Matt Stafford for MVP. He had a great season, but I think that the Seattle defense, Mitch, is really what's going to end up winning this game for them. It's not the offenses. It's not going to be Darnold or May, which I still have a hard time putting those two as like the Super Bowl quarterbacks. It's just weird for me. I don't have them at that level if I'm looking at like the rankings, the hierarchy of NFL quarterbacks. But these teams, they're really both well coached and both hard-nosed defenses, and I just think that there's a little bit more talent there on the Seattle side of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I am going to go with the Pats, though, just to be different and say they're going to pull the upset. I want a close game. I think that's what I always want in the Super Bowl, is just something down to the wire, something dramatic.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be low scoring. I think both these defenses are pretty nasty, but if someone could pull away and have a blowout, it's definitely in favor of Seattle. But I'm going to go with the Pats, go against the grain, and pick an upset here for New England. Favorite food at Super Bowl? What do you like to eat?
I really like tortilla chips and like a good like queso dip or something off the Traeger.
Yeah.
Like if it's like
off a Traeger.
Oh yeah. If you're not breaking out the smoker, you're not doing the Super Bowl right.
Yeah, I've talked about this before. I'm kind of anti-party guy for football. I've never been party guy for football games. When people, before I got into the media and it's probably the best thing that I was in the media, because with BYU games, people, like I'd have family and be like, hey, let's all get together and watch this game. I'm like, no.
Lock you in a closet
I just,
with a TV.
Like, this is different. Like this is not a place to be conversational. Growing up, family parties for Super Bowl used to be, mom, aunts, grandma, they'd be up in the kitchen or whatever, watching, talking amongst each other, and then the guys are all watching football, watching the game. I'm kind of antisocial when it comes to football. Like, when I want to watch a game, I want to watch the game. I don't want to talk. But
do you want to eat at least? Do you want to have have like some nachos that you're by yourself
question.
or something?
Like you see me at BYU games, I'm devouring that Tucanos. But maybe now that I think about it, I don't eat it actually during the game. Anyway, we'll talk more Super Bowl in hour number 3. Let's take a break. More BYU hoops too here on Cougar Sports Saturday.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The kidnappers of the 84-year-old missing mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie don't appear to be granting requests for proof that she's alive. A local TV station got a new message in the case, says ABC's Aaron Katursky.
The station said it contains something the senders seem to think will prove to investigators they're the same people who sent the first note, the one that mentioned Nancy Guthrie's Apple Watch and possible damage at her home, demanded Bitcoin, and included 2 deadlines. The first has come and gone. The second is in just 2 days. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department said investigators are actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity.
There's been no apology or saying that President Trump made a mistake amid outrage from Republicans and Democrats over a racist video posted on President Trump's social media page and left up for 12 hours yesterday. The video depicted the Obamas as apes. President Trump says he didn't see that part of the video.
Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it. And probably they would have had the sense to take it down. But that was a takeoff on the Lion King. And a lot of people were covered on in different positions.
The next congressional hearing about the Jeffrey Epstein files could come up empty, says ABC's Jonathan Karl.
On Monday, the House Oversight Committee will hear from Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is scheduled to testify virtually from the prison where she is serving 20 years for sex trafficking. She is expected to take the fifth. The Republican-led committee has subpoenaed former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to testify behind closed doors.
The Clintons call for their hearings to be public so the American public can see for themselves, they say. Italian police have used tear gas and a water cannon on a small group of protesters near a Winter Olympics venue today. The protest was partly about U.S. immigration police being in Italy. You're listening to ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, our credit card bill came and it's higher than last month.
How? We haven't charged anything.
Paying the minimum isn't enough. It will keep getting higher until we take control. We need to go to 47fastcash.com.
With our bad credit?
47fastcash.com can help any credit type get approved for up to $5,000 in minutes.
Take control and get the money you need at 47fastcash.com. 47fastcash.com.
I've been telling you all about the secret war on our cash and the free report you can receive a copy of by contacting Swiss America at 800-289-2646. I'd also like to encourage you to subscribe to their podcast on YouTube. Just search Swiss America Trading. The podcast can provide you a ton of vital information and financial news in the challenging and uncertain times we're in. Subscribe today. Learn more about BRICS, industry leaders, and their market predictions for the future, along with what you might expect to see in terms of precious metal performance in the weeks and months ahead. Message and data rates may apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone,
Welcome to AutoZone.
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
There's only 2 teams that BYU basketball has not defeated since joining the Big 12. It's Texas Tech and the Houston Cougars. BYU gets a chance to take down Houston tonight. Tip-off at 8:30 at the Marriott Center, and BYU looks to end a 3-game skid as they welcome the top 10 Cougs from Clutch City. And to get to know these Houston Cougars, who are quietly going about their business at 20-2 overall, get to know these Houston Cougars, I was joined by Chris Gardner. Houston Round Ball Review covers Houston basketball, and this is my conversation with Chris here on Cougar Sports Saturday. How would you assess how this season's gone for Kelvin Sampson's squad?
Mitch, thank you for the invite. Thank you for thinking of me. It's, I guess, gone as expected. The wins have, well, let me backtrack. The wins, they probably won more than I thought they would based on how many new faces, not just the freshmen like Kingston Flemings and Chris Senac and Isaiah Harwell, but also the guys like Chase McCarty, redshirt freshmen, guys who are in new roles. I mean, even Emmanuel Sharp is a leader now. He's a team leader. So more was expected of him. So I'm surprised they're 20-2 right now. It took a while for them to adjust to defense, Houston Cougar defense, Kelvin Sampson defense, and I think they are finally getting that part of it down pat, where everybody's on a string. So that's, I think, going to be a key going forward for the rest of this season.
Well, that's what I was going to follow up with, Chris, and you kind of led me into my next thought. You know, the last 2 games, Houston's allowed 55 points or less to its opponents. So do you feel like it's starting to show signs, this defense, of what we've grown to expect in the Big 12 from Kelvin Sampson's teams?
It's starting to show signs, and it's guys that are finally getting healthy as well. JoJo Tugler, and I'm guilty of this, and I've covered the team for years. JoJo Tugler missed the summer because of surgery on his foot. So he didn't practice with the team. He was getting around campus on a scooter. So nothing in June, July, August, September. He got cleared late September, October. So his timing has been off for November, December, a lot of January. So he's just not rounding into shape, and he's one of the best defenders in the country. So combine his injuries with Khalifa Sacco's injuries, and Khalifa Sacco is a newcomer as well, so he had to learn the system. And Isaiah Harwell was injured, coming off surgery. So all those guys missed summer workouts. So they were behind where everybody else was playing and practicing and learning the system and getting used to everything. So now I think the team finally getting healthy is another plus helping the defense.
Do you think this year's team has more offensive firepower than recent years? And last year's team was really good offensively, and I think underrated nationally. I think people kind of always frame Houston as just a great defense, no offense. Last year's team was so explosive, but do you think this might be one of the best offensive teams Houston's had in a while?
Yes, I do for sure. I think the ceiling for this team offensively is much higher than probably any of the previous years under Coach Sampson. You have different guys who can score one-on-one. Kingston Flemings has shown he's a walking bucket. Chris Enack is a pick and pop guy as a big man, 6'10". He's got a three-point shot that he's becoming more consistent with. Miles Suzanne took him a while to adjust to playing off the ball with the ball more in Kingston Fleming's hands. And Emmanuel Sharp is one of the streakiest three-point shooters in college basketball. And once he's on, he's on. You wouldn't teach his shooting form as a coach to anybody else, but it works for him.
Talk with Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review here on Cougar Tracks as we get ready for the All Cougar matchup Saturday night, BYU and Houston, top 25 clash in the Big 12. And last Saturday, BYU was in a high-profile prospect matchup with A.J. DeBonsa, Darren Peterson. This go-around, it's, as you've noted, Kingston Flemings, who should be a lock to be a top 5 pick next summer. I'm curious, Chris, was it expected that Kingston was going to be as good as he is? I mean, maybe that's a high bar as a freshman, but, came in with some high accolades, top 20 recruit nationally, but has he been better than anyone even could have imagined how good he's been this season?
He's been better than I imagined. I'll say it like that. One of my colleagues on our podcast, who's an alum and former pro player and played at the Cougs in college, Robert McKeever, he saw this and he told us in the offseason that he thought Kingston was special. And he's reminds us almost every show at how right he was about Kingston Flemings. But ironically, in October, Coach Sampson told the media that Kingston would be back for his sophomore season. And Kingston Fleming said at that time he'd be back for his sophomore season. Fast forward to now, there's no way. No way. He's a top 5 pick, top 6, whatever you want to say, top 10 at worst. He's going to the NBA. He's one and done.
How do you think Houston defensively attacks DeBonsa, who, like Fleming's going to be a one and done, and Richie Saunders as well, who's entering his senior year? How do you think they try to defend these two for BYU?
Emmanuel Sharp cannot guard both of them, so he'll take one of them. And then I'm curious to see who's going to guard. Let's say Emmanuel guards AJ. Well, that leaves Richie Saunders, who I'm very high on. I think he's going to be a solid pro as well. That's a tough cover for Chris Enack. I don't think Chris can do that. Will JoJo Tugler get that matchup? If JoJo does it, JoJo has to stay out of foul trouble. And he has had a propensity this season to get in early foul trouble a lot. So will Coach Sampson and staff risk that? Or they try Miles Suzanne. Miles is not the athlete and not the great defender one-on-one that the other guys are. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to defend both those guys. And then, of course, Rob Wright, I think that'll be Kingston Fleming's assignment. And that's a tough task for a freshman on the road. So we'll see.
How do you think, Kelvin Sampson's handled coaching up a younger team than we've grown accustomed to with Houston having, Sanak and Fleming's 2 freshmen being key guys. How has he adjusted to that, or how has he handled coaching a freshman heavy team?
He still coaches them like any other. He teaches them all the same. He has the same expectations, no low turnovers, defend and rebound. And he has spoken very highly of Chris and saying how Chris looks him in the eye, has never had a bad day of practice. And that's important as freshmen. And these guys came in highly touted. But once they come to the program, they're like everybody else. They're not treated like 5 stars. They still have to earn their stripes here in the program. And that's one thing Coach Sampson makes clear. It's his program. You will acquiesce to his coaching style or you won't play. Bottom line.
Last thing for you, Chris. Again, Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review. Check out his fine work. You can see him on X as well. What's the ceiling you think for this year's Houston team as you continue to move forward, even beyond this BYU game on Saturday? What's the ceiling of this group, you think?
I think this team can go to the Final Four. This team can win the championship. Unlike last year's team, I really believe, it doesn't matter because it's college basketball and it's one and done in the tournament. Last year's team, I think, would have won a series 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7 against Florida. This year's team, I'm not sure that's the case against Arizona, for example. I think Arizona is the best team in college basketball. But, Mitch, you know this. Come tournament time, all you have to do is win 1 game. Beat that team and move on to the next round. And I think this team can win 6 in a row and get that first championship in program history.
And that's Chris Gardner from the Houston Round Ball Review to give us the lowdown on the Houston Cougars. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll start to dive into this BYU-Houston matchup and see who's in, who's out for this matchup, and set the stage for tonight as we count down to tip-off between BYU and Houston. Mitch Harper, Kyle Ireland with you here on Cougar Sports Saturday, and it's powered by KSL Sports.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform, and guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Valentine's Day is a moment to pause and celebrate the love that fills your life. Duke's Jewelers in Springville believes every love story deserves something timeless, something chosen with intention and given from the heart. This Valentine's season, explore pieces that speak without a single word. Dazzling diamonds that catch the light, rich gold that feels classic and enduring, and colorful gemstones that tell a story all their own. Whether you're marking a first Valentine's together, honoring decades of devotion, or simply wanting to make someone feel cherished, Duke's Jewelers is here to help you find the perfect piece. Duke's Jewelers will guide you with care, offer thoughtful suggestions, and even wrap your gift beautifully so you can enjoy the moment, not stress over it. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Springville Main Street and discover a gift that will be treasured long after February 14th is passed. Because love is worth celebrating in the most meaningful way. Duke's Jewelers. Love elevated.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. Recently, I checked into a hotel and found that the internet wasn't working in my room. I called the front desk, who gave me a number for the tech support guy. After 20 minutes of being on hold and 10 minutes of providing numbers, 10 minutes of troubleshooting, I just hung up. Why was I doing the hotel's job for them? It's not my job to solve their network problem. That's happening everywhere. To pay for parking, I need to download yet another parking app, type in a credit card number, type in the addresses and the license plate number, type in a verification code. I liked it better when I just handed the attendant some money. Or the restaurant where I stand in line, get my food, order on a computer, pick up my food, and the only time I ever talk to a server is when they're taking my money and asking for a tip. Technology is good, but it cannot replace service. Real service is something that happens only between people. Learn more about real service in an MBA from Utah State. Go to utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Right now, UCCU is offering short-term savings options with incredibly high yields. Simply make a deposit, then watch your savings grow with a fixed rate of return that's much higher than a savings account. UCCU also has great offers on jump-up options. So if rates continue to rise, you can jump up your rate and earn even more. Visit uccu.com to learn more and supercharge your savings today. UCCU. Love where you bank.
I'm Walker Kessler, and I play basketball for a living. So I know how important it is to have the support of a team you can trust. That's why I love UCCU. UCCU is more than a credit union. They're a true financial partner, a local team of experts your entire family can trust at every step of your financial journey. Just visit uccu.com and elevate your banking experience.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Cougar Sports Saturday here on this BYU basketball game day. Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. Big 12 hoops, man, always delivers. It's a different league in the Big 12. It's a different league. Brett Yormark on a broadcast on Peacock earlier this week teased a Tuesday announcement of some kind for the Big 12 Conference Tournament. It's going to be a big announcement on Tuesday, so we'll see what happens there. We're about 4.5 weeks away until the Big 12 basketball tournament in Kansas City. Some finals around the Big 12. Iowa State takes down Baylor 72-69 in Ames. So Baylor's next game is against the BYU Cougars on Tuesday in Waco and Foster Pavilion. And then right now we're watching Kansas State and TCU in Fort Worth. 6.7 seconds remaining. Tied up at 82. Can you imagine if that would have been... You know what the half of 82 is, right? It's 41. So you got 6.7 and 41. 41. That just went over your head. I think it went completely over your head.
I'm starting to see billboards with 6-7. And
Yeah,
let's just move on. Let's move on.
It's totally done. Like I saw the originator of 6-7, Talon Kinney, last week in person. The Kansas commit.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see him at the Marriott Center next year, because he's signed with Kansas. And I wanted to say to him, Talon, you did us all a disservice, man. Your 6-7 nonsense set it all ablaze. But we'll keep tabs on K-State and TCU. And then also in Allen Fieldhouse, Talon Kinney's future home, Kansas Jayhawks up 60-48 on the Utah Utes. 6:16 to go in the second half. Utah's been hanging around with Kansas. And then in Tucson, Oklahoma State, first media timeout, tied up at 6 with the number 1 ranked Arizona Wildcats down in the desert in Tucson. Again, it's a different league. It's the Big 12, man. It's a buzzsaw. It's a gauntlet. And TCU takes the lead. First lead of the night for TCU. They're up 83-82. K-State, I think, is going to have a new coach after this year, don't you think? It feels like that's the case with a little bit of the Big 12 where you got
run its course.
Arizona State with Hurley. I think he's the way he's talking in post games.
When he was in Provo a month ago, it was like, oh man, like this guy knows
he's talking about Chick-fil-A. I feel like Hurley's probably lame duck coach. Jerome Tang with K-State. Wes Miller at Cincinnati. They had a bad loss earlier this week, losing to West Virginia.
That
they had
video
a big
of
lead.
him talking to the fans, going and apologizing right after the loss. I was like, oh my god.
Like, I respect the effort, I guess, but dude, come on. You're not winning any hearts. You're losing your job. So we might see some new coaches, I think, in the Big 12. But this league's so good, man. What do you think of the Big 12 and what we're seeing around the conference so far right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly the best or the second best league in college basketball right now.
Who's better?
I think it's the Big 12. I do think that they're the best league.
No, who would you say is the biggest contender, though?
I would say that the Big 10 is right there. I just think that I think the Big 12 is deeper, I would say.
Well, I think the Big 12, what's weird about this league, because we've laid it out, BYU's 5-4 in the league right now, the midway point, game number 10 tonight. The 5 wins have been against teams that aren't that great, but they're all capable on any given night of taking you down. And we saw that with Oklahoma State. I mean, Oklahoma State's, kind of in that 60 range with net 50s, high 50s. But I think that what makes the Big 12 so good this year is you've got 5 or 6 teams that could go to the Final Four. And I think this could be the year where the Big 12 has 2 teams in the Final Four. I think that's what makes the Big 12 so tough this year. But you're right. I mean, it is fun to see BYU in a league that's just so good like this conference. And it's challenging in spots like BYU's in right now where they're in a losing streak, but it's also rewarding because you just simply get one win. You can start to turn the fortunes of your season because, again, this league is so good.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, though. It's how you look at the potential of these teams because of what the tournament does and how many of these teams, whether you're looking at the Big 10 or the Big 12, that can make it to that final weekend. And that's where I think that both of those conferences are kind of at the same spot right now. Like, if Arizona won the national championship right now, or Houston, like, it wouldn't surprise anybody. But at the same time, like, would you be surprised if Michigan or Nebraska or Illinois won? Right? I mean, I think that there's a lot of parity in college basketball right now across these top leagues. And I think that that's the cool thing about the Big 12 as well is, I mean, you see a game like you had in the middle of the week where Oklahoma State's able to beat BYU. That's a game where you went into that game thinking BYU was going to get the win. And they were going to get back on track. I just don't know if that's the case anymore, right? Like, BYU has to be able to show that they are at that level where they are an Iowa State and Arizona, Houston. They just haven't done it so far.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even against Utah, in Salt Lake, BYU, they only won by 5. In Salt Lake, or in Provo, Utah was shooting lights out, and they're the worst team in the league, and they're at 1-8 in conference play. So, yeah, this league top to bottom is really good, and it's difficult, and that's where for BYU, if they can end this losing streak and get back on track, you just get one win, get on the winning side of things again. It's a big deal to get any sort of victory in the Big 12, but there are layers to which games are the biggest ones. And tonight against Houston, one of the toughest tests in the conference because Houston, 20-2 overall, 8-1 in conference play. They have been excellent this season. I've been impressed, too, with Kansas. I thought last week, I'm like, geez, Kansas is playing out of their minds against BYU. Then they came down to earth in the second half a little bit. But they go on the road, beat Texas Tech in Lubbock on Monday. Now, granted, Texas Tech didn't have Christian Anderson, their star guard, but Kansas looking like what you think Kansas will be in the Big 12. And that's been different, since BYU joined this conference. Kansas has been a shell of itself. They're looking like one of the top teams once again, and they're playing pretty well now in the second half against Utah. Iowa State, I thought in that 2-game stretch where they lost to Kansas and Cincinnati on the road, I thought, okay, fade Iowa State. They're gonna be, I didn't say bottom out, but I thought, okay, they're gonna go to the middle of the pack. They've been hammering teams. They escape with a win today against Baylor. Really good basketball at the top of this conference. It's a well-resourced league in basketball. It's programs that care a lot about their basketball programs. It's an awesome conference. I love that BYU is part of this thing. You hope that they can stack up some more wins and stack up some quality days here in the near future, starting tonight. But I love the quest of the Big 12 because it's nice to be in a league where you're at 5-4 at the midway point, and BYU in brackets is still viewed as a 5 or a 6 seed. That's a nice luxury to have. 5-4 in the WCC days is like, well, you're not even going to go to the NIT. So it's an awesome league, and if you can go 10-8 in this conference, maybe you're good enough to make a run in the NCAA tournament. But obviously, there was a higher expectation for BYU, and they look to turn it around tonight against Houston.
It's funny that you brought up the WCC there because I had that exact thought the other night when Portland beat Gonzaga. I was like,
where were those losses
right?
when Gonzaga was in the league with BYU?
Exactly.
They never lost to anyone.
And it was BYU losing to Portland. And it was like those losses
Bobby
were
Sharp.
so upsetting. And that's kind of where I felt like that loss to Oklahoma State wasn't like losing to Portland. It wasn't like losing to Pepperdine. And so you're at a different level now where you can absorb that loss a little bit easier. It's crazy how in 3 years things have changed so much.
Every game in the Big 12 is there's no bad losses. I mean, the only one that would be maybe a bad loss is K-State or Utah. But even then, it's like you go on the road in their building, it's quad 2 or quad 1 because the net ratings, these teams were hammering teams in non-conference play. Like the Big 12 was the best league in non-conference, and that's why the net ratings, the Ken Palm ratings, they love the Big 12 because they just bounce within the top 75 because they were so good in non-conference. And then when you join league play, even when you lose, it's not that big of a dip. So BYU can turn things around in a hurry, but going back to Wednesday night, that loss, it just felt like they got to fix things in a hurry, and they'll look to do that tonight against Houston, 8:30 p.m. tip-off, pregame at 7:30 here on KSL. Let's dive into that matchup in greater detail with a three-pointer next. Kyle Ireland, Mitch Harper. We're live here on this Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL News Radio, the legacy home of the Cougars.
AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. How do they do that? By working with homeowners, builders, or directly with contractors, combining years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want, or what your client wants, and you know it's not going to be cookie cutter. This is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days, with supplies in stock. Visit the brand new location at 3678 South 7th West Suite 100 to shop and pick up at your convenience with ready stock. Get one step closer to completing your dream renovation. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
Andy, I like that shirt. Is that a new shirt?
It is. It's from Ann Collar, and it's really rare to find a shirt that looks good and is super comfortable. And this is a fabric unlike anything I've ever felt.
I got one for my husband and my sons, and they watching my 19-year-old put on the Ann Collar shirt and sort of check himself out in the mirror. I thought, wow, he's really digging that. And I can understand why, because it's not just comfortable, it's stain repellent, which I needed.
Oh, my goodness.
Because,
Something.
He attracts spaghetti sauce to shirts like you would not believe. And with these Ann Collar shirts, I can get it out.
Amanda, I have to wear a special bib when I eat spaghetti with a white shirt on. But with Ann Collar shirts, it takes those little tiny nicks and stains, and they don't stick to you. Yeah, you don't have to dump a bucket of stuff on you, but it would repel that too.
You've got to try one. So whether it's the traditional white shirt or any of the patterns they have, it's Ann Collar, and they're made right here in Utah.
If you've never tried Ann Collar before, we have got permission to give you 15% off at andcollar.com and go get your first. Use the code KSL15.
That's Ann Collar, andcollar.com.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't
don't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
This Valentine's Day, it's time to fall in love again with simpler living and thoughtful design. A home built for the life you want now. Ovation Homes creates homes for active adults 55 and better, designed to make life easier, more comfortable, and more enjoyable every day. Ovation Homes is hosting a Fall in Love with Your Home event, Valentine's Day, with an open house at their Syracuse and West Point locations. Join the KSL Greenhouse Show live at West Point, 8 until 11, or Sadie's Glen in Syracuse from 11 until 1. Enjoy a sweet treat courtesy of Waffle Love. Grab a friend, family member, or your sweetheart to see your next home you'll truly love living in. Browse stunning homes. Imagine your new floor plan and furniture for relaxing and carefree days. If you're ready to downsize without compromise, you want a home that truly fits your lifestyle. Start now at Ovation Homes Fall in Love event. Your best years start here. OvationHomesUtah.com for details.
Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, from preparing to serve to standing side by side, starting a life together. At every age, at every milestone, Mr. Mac helps you feel confident and prepared by showing up looking your best no matter where life takes you. Locally owned and operated for nearly 60 years, Mr. Mac, helping you look your best for all of life's events.
Do you remember when tankless water heaters were the big new thing? We all had a friend that was raving about how efficient they were, heating only the water that was needed, saving money, water, the efficiency, amazing. And then, sitting next to it was the ordinary water softener, regenerating soft water every night, no matter how much was used, using a predictable yet completely wasteful amount of salt. Looking back, it really doesn't make sense, does it? If you don't have a Connecticut soft water system, you're likely using about 2/3 more salt than you need to. It's not rocket science. It's the same way a tankless water heater only heats the water you use. A Connecticut water softener precisely uses the exact amount of salt needed to give you endless, perfectly soft water for your 2-bed condo or 4-story mansion. Save on money, save on salt. Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, 801-576-8600, or visit softwaterutah.com. Tell them Doug Wright sent you.
It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Some more Big 12 games that went final. TCU holds off Kansas State 84-82. So Kansas State's now 1-9 in Big 12 play. Not good for Jerome Tang. And staying down in that cellar with K-State, Utah falls at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas takes down the Utes 71-59. Kansas continues its hot streak. The Jayhawks have now won 7 in a row. So Kansas rolling in Big 12 play. They take down Utah. And then Arizona up 25-11 on Oklahoma State in Tucson. Mitch Harper, Kyle Ireland with you. We're talking BYU basketball as the Cougars gear up for Houston tonight. And to break down this game, we'll dive into our three-pointer. We'll give you some stats, some players to watch, and some bold predictions. Let's start with some stats, Kyle. What's a number that you're looking at in this game that has your attention?
7.5 is the stat, Mitch. You're going to be like, well, what is that? Well, that's Dawson Baker's scoring average in 6 games this season. And I bring that up because he is the 4th leading scorer for the Cougars still at this point of the season. So you've got the big 3, obviously, up at the top. But Kennard Davis, Kebakeda, Mihailo Boskovic, like none of those guys have gotten their average above that mark. It's got to change over the last month of the regular season, Mitch. They've got to get more punch from that scoring group out of the bench. out of the other two guys in the starting lineup. BYU can't survive and get to where they want to if nobody else is going to be able to help out that big three. So, yeah, 7.5 from Dawson. You wish that he was still healthy and able to give you that, and he's not able to, so somebody else has to step up.
It was a good nugget this week on the Coaches Show, which you can always listen to those Coaches Shows every Thursday night at 9 p.m. here on KSL. Brandon Dunson and KY were talking about how Dawson could qualify for a medical redshirt year, maybe pursue that, so we'll see if he does, and if so, it'd be great to see him back. I'd have to imagine he'd be one of the oldest players in college basketball.
Like 7 years,
season,
right?
If he ran it back correct, and he was a mission athlete too, so he'd be up there in age, but I hope he gets in there crack because it was so disappointing to see that happen in Orlando earlier this year because if they had Dawson, I feel like a lot of these issues would not be as big of a problem, I feel like, because Dawson was someone that KY trusted off that bench, and he was dealing with injuries even in the offseason. There were questions about the foot. I mean, it was always, if Dawson's healthy.
He's been dealing with injuries his entire career.
The whole time. I mean, it's just been an ongoing deal, and maybe that's where you get to the point for Dawson to say, you know what, I can't go through it anymore. But I hope he gets one more crack and comes back and tries to pursue it again. My number is 14.4. That's the amount of offensive rebounds BYU has grabbed per game in Big 12 play. They're the number one offensive rebounding team in the league. That's something to be proud of, and I think that's something that stands out in this game today because Houston prides itself on its ability to crash the glass. BYU has got to be good on the glass, and for a team that's not always the best up and down when it comes to three-point shooting, there's going to be some opportunities to gather some offensive rebounds. BYU has to maintain that high level of play tonight against Houston. Players to watch, let me just say this. Always AJ DeBonsa is in the mix, so let's get that out of the way. AJ is always someone you watch. But for BYU, I also added Richie Saunders here for the Cougars. You know, Richie had a huge game against Kansas. 33 points, had a career high against the Jayhawks. And then against Oklahoma State, Richie had 20 points, was 4 of 10 from 3. You love that type of efficiency, 4 of 6 from 2-point range. So he was 8 of 16 from the field. I want to see that efficiency again, but in a game where maybe BYU gets some momentum on its side, unlike they did in Stillwater. So Richie Saunders won for me. And then for Houston, the number one offensive rebounder individually in the Big 12, JoJo Tugler. Again, a little bit of a theme, and I bring up the offensive rebound angle because Houston, again, is so good in that area of the game. BYU is the number one offensive rebounding team in the league, but Houston, it's part of their identity, to crash the glass and extend possessions, and JoJo Tugler embodies Houston basketball, so watch out for him. He was someone, as you heard earlier this hour from the Houston Insider, was pretty much absent during summer, recovering from an injury, but he's been a key piece of Houston the past couple of years. Remember 2 years ago, I think he was working his way back from injury, and then last year he was part of their team that reached the Final Four in the national championship game, so keep an eye out for JoJo Tugler for Houston.
Yeah, I think that's great and pairs with your offensive rebound stat. BYU's front court has to be able to take care of those guys and be able to clean up the glass there. But for Houston, I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sharp, the second leading scorer for Houston. And I think the reason why I chose him is he was so impressive to me in their run a season ago, Mitch. He's a senior this season, going on the road against BYU. I'd look to, they have their freshman stars that they've been building this season around, but Emmanuel Sharp has been steady for them, and so I look for him to have a good game tonight as well for the Houston Cougars. And then for BYU, Rob Wright is who I'm going to look at. Rob hasn't had a 20-point game in the last 3 outings. He needs to be able to have a 20-point performance for BYU to win tonight.
Emmanuel Sharp, veteran, and he's someone that has been with Houston all 4 years in his career. Remember last year he had that big mistake in the national championship game, and I kind of thought, is that going to just plague him, going into his senior year and just want to just move on? But he runs it back. He's a key piece for this team. Him and I share the same birthday. Fun fact. I don't know why I know that, but Emmanuel Sharp, really good player for the Houston Cougars. Bold prediction time. What do you got, Kyle? What's your bold prediction for tonight against Houston.
You saw Richie Saunders get a career high last week against Kansas. I'm going to say he ups that today against Houston. I'm going to say he scores 34+.
That'd be huge. Because in that scenario, Richie's, if he gets 34, he sets a career high. I feel pretty confident AJ's going to have at least 20, 23, somewhere in there. And then if Rob gives you, 17, 18, you're talking 75 points. That should be enough to get it done from the big three. I'm going to say a bold prediction centered around scoring with the big three as well. I'm going to go AJ drops 40+. I think BYU needs him in that territory almost every night now. Like 30+ for BYU to win games. To get out of this rut, they need a big-time AJ game once again. We got it on Wednesday from AJ. I think he has another big 40-point effort. Houston is a really tough matchup. They've got a great identity. But again, I think this is a Houston team that defensively that's more prone to give up points than other Houston teams. As you heard from their insider, he's even surprised that this team's at 20-2. They've kind of exceeded expectations thus far. Could be a group that's more prone to give up points. So I'm going to go with AJ having another 40-piece tonight, which will be the talk of the country if AJ does that. But got to do it in a win, too. That's going to be important for BYU to get that done tonight against the Houston Cougars. Tip-off at 8:30, pregame at 7:30 here on KSL. Final timeout. We'll give you our score predictions and put a bow on the show next here on Cougar Sports Saturday.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients, participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Mortgage interest rates are at their lowest point in nearly 2 years. So why go to a bank or credit union when you can go to Loans by Rick? Rick has been doing mortgage loans for 25 years, and many customers go to Loans by Rick after shopping banks and credit unions to get a lower interest rate and lower closing costs. Whether you're buying a home or refinancing, call 801-809-SAVE or click loansbyrick.com. Rick Kirschenbaum, NMLS 241179, and Vintage Lending, NMLS 287106. Equal Opportunity Lender.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 3/22/26. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just 1 shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found GoodRx. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's GoodRx, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday, powered by KSL Sports. Kyle Ireland and Mitch Harper. We're watching number 1 team in the country, Arizona, up 10 right now over Oklahoma State, 28-18. Mitch, that Arizona game coming up in a couple weeks is one that BYU needs to win. I want them to win this game, and if they could win that game, I'd feel so much better about them going into Kansas City and into the tournament. They need to be able to win 2 out of these ranked games closing out the final month of the season, I think, in order for me to feel like this is a team that can make the Final Four.
That's a good point. I think if you're talking Final Four, they got to win tonight. They got to beat Iowa State. That Arizona game in Tucson, that's a bonus to me.
The reason why I choose that one, though, is because it's on the road. Because the Iowa State game at home, tonight's at home. If you win both of those, it's like, it's because you're at home. You have that advantage. I need to see them win one of these big ones on the road.
I just need to see them win a big one.
That's fair.
They haven't done
Maybe
that.
I'm asking for too much right now.
Because they've been close so many dang times, and they're lacking that signature victory on the resume right now. And it's what I love about the Big 12 is that you get so many opportunities to elevate your profile and move up the ladder. BYU right now in bracketology, they're pretty much a 5 seed. But what's interesting in bracketology, and I put up a piece on KSLSports.com, what's dangerous for BYU, we haven't talked about it much this year because really they've resided in the top 16 seeds in a lot of bracketology forecasts. When you get outside of the top 16 seeds, which is 1 through 4 in any given region, you then entertain the opportunity for dropping a seed line because of the no Sunday play. You're protected by that as a top 16 protected seed. The Sunday conversation doesn't get entertained for BYU if you're a 3 seed. You just slide into, say, Portland, and there's no conversation about, they might be a 3 seed on the seed list, but we have to put them as a 4 because of no Sunday. Remember a couple years ago, Mark Pope's team, they were a 5, but they dropped to a 6. They missed out on Salt Lake because of no Sunday. And then Gonzaga gets the 5 seed. If you start going into that, that's a possibility. Now, sometimes it can benefit you geographically, like last year, where, yes, you end up a 6 seed, when probably you're a 5, but you end up a 6, and you go to Denver. Worked out okay for BYU. Sometimes it breaks their way. This is a situation where you could go from being a 3 seed in Portland to now a 6 seed in Oklahoma City or Charleston, South Carolina. And it's like, just get into that top 16 seeds. BYU's highest seed ever in the history of the program. in the seed era of the NCAA tournament is a 3 seed. 1980 with Danny Ainge, and then 2011 with Jimmer Fredette, and they made the Sweet 16 that year. So it's important. And I think in with how deep college basketball is this year, the higher the better. And that's why tonight's so important, because I'm not getting worked up about chasing a Big 12 championship. Like, I hope they could do it in, say, Kansas City, as you noted, with the Big 12 tournament. But I just want to see BYU have the best possible path in the NCAA tournament, and what creates the best possible path is winning these big games and getting some signature victories on the resume. Because, again, right now, Joe Lunardi has BYU as a 5 seed. Some other bracketologists that I respect, the guys at Basket Under Review, they've got BYU as a 7. They put BYU as a 6 on their seed line, but then they factored in, as I noted, the No Sunday piece, and that drops them to a 7 if you follow bracketing principles. So it's important to get some momentum to your resume and get a win over a Houston team that Houston, if they lost tonight to BYU, they're not suddenly going to bottom out. They're going to stack up wins. That's going to be a huge victory on your resume if you can get it, but easier said than done. BYU comes into this game as an underdog.
Yeah, and I mean, you're just talking about seeding there. I'm like, if BYU were to be a 5 or lower, BYU fans would be so devastated. It'd be really hard to go into the tournament feeling optimistic about your chances.
Well, it's what Kevin Young talked about in the offseason. You know, one of the strategies they implemented with building out this schedule this year in non-conference play was to almost have like what Arizona experienced last year, where you were 9-5 in non-conference. I know BYU had a really good record in non-conference play, but where you had a wide margin for error and still have a path to getting a top 16 seed. Because what BYU faced last year, yes, they got to the Sweet 16, which was fantastic, but the matchups were very difficult. You were a 6, you faced a pretty pesky 11 seed in VCU, and then you faced a really good Wisconsin's team as the 3 seed, and then a lights-out Alabama team that's still hitting 50-footers from, like, everywhere in Newark, and I still am picturing that. Whereas this year, you'd like to be maybe, a 2 seed or a 3 seed, and maybe have a favorable first-round matchup where you're not having to play a full 40 minutes. I know they pulled away from VCU, but you get my point. Like, it's just you want to face – every game's going to be tough in the NCAA tournament. Anyone can get you. But and what's concerning, too, for BYU, when we talk about these slow starts, you get into that 5-seed territory or a 6-seed territory, you're going to get some mid-major champion as a 12-seed. You give them a fast start as a Cinderella in a game 1, say they're up by 10 at the half, as BYU has experienced in many games this year, that's not going to be easy to come back from in March Madness. I don't care who the team is. You get in that setting and you're faced with win or go home, that 10-point deficit could be very difficult to come back from. It's one thing in regular season play. It's another in the postseason. So seed lines are the most important thing to me. And that's what I look at as what is so important about tonight. 1, to get back on track, but 2, to enhance that resume, to get back into the protected seed territory to where you're a 3 seed in Portland. That's what I want to see BYU get, because Portland, geographically, you probably get a lot of Cougar fans to show up to that game. It's not much travel, and probably got a favorable first-round matchup. And you can get things rolling, and you get to the Sweet 16, maybe without breaking a sweat, but you got to get some big wins in regular season play to make that happen.
Yeah, and this one would be a big one. I think that you have to be able to get one of these ranked wins, Mitch, and I'm asking for 2, but BYU has to be able to improve their resume. Tonight's a great first chance at that over this final 4-week stretch. Let's get to our score predictions for this game. I'll go first. I'm going to say that BYU falls. I think they lose a close game. I think it's a 5-point game. I think Houston ends up winning 72-67. Free throw kind of thing down the stretch there in the last minute of the game. Until BYU proves to me that they can play the kind of game that they haven't been able to play over the last 2 weeks since they beat Utah, really, I just think that that's what I need to see in order for me to believe that they can beat the number 8 team in the country. Houston's been there. They've done that. They've been consistent this season. Only those 2 losses. I think that the ability that, Fleming has to be able to just be a flamethrower is going to be something that it's going to be tough on BYU tonight. I wonder how much that takes out of like Rob Wright and Kennard Davis and that guard lineup. BYU is going to need more than just the big three. And they've also, and the reason why I picked 72-67 is I just think that Houston's going to be able to make BYU play at their pace.
I got a similar score for this game. I've got BYU falling in this game. I've got a similar margin. I've got Houston winning 78-74. I got a little bit higher scoring, but similar margin. I've got Houston winning by 4. I think Houston, excellent team. Houston with Kingston Flemings, with Chris Sinak, Sharp, Milos Uzan, who we haven't really touched on. I mean, he's a returning guard. Feels like he's become more of a role guy with Kingston Flemings emerging as the superstar of this group. You know, Isaiah Harwell, a former Wasatch Academy player, I think he's getting better. He's coming off the bench for them. Mercy Miller. They've got a really good team, and they've got a bench, and they've got personnel to throw at AJ. Now, I'm curious to see the matchups. I think, AJ's a mismatch for anyone pretty much. And then you got Richie Saunders as well. But I just think Houston, they know who they are at this point, whereas BYU is trying to find an identity on the defensive end. Houston, one thing about them, they've struggled. They've been up and down at times on the three-point line. They've had games where they've been outstanding, and they'll put up like 39 threes in a game, like they did against Baylor earlier this year. And then earlier this week against UCF, they only hit 3 threes, 3 out of 19. So kind of a mixed bag from beyond the arc against for Houston this season. BYU, I think, will probably hit 8 to 12 threes, but will it be enough? Like they did against Arizona, and you thought, oh, that's going to be a recipe for success. I don't confidently know yet, because defensively BYU has struggled in recent games, and that leaves a lot to be desired right now. But I'm going to go with Houston to get a win in the Marriott Center. But I think it's going to be a tough game, and BYU's going to have chances to win this one. It wouldn't shock me if BYU pulled off the upset, but I just think I want to see BYU play a lot better than they've showed the past few games. Good stuff today, Kyle. He's Kyle Ireland. I'm Mitch Harper. Check out the podcast if you missed any part of the show today. Just search Cougar Sports Saturday wherever you get your podcast or on the KSL Sports app. Then come back later tonight. Pregame starts at 7:30. Tip-off at 8:30 for number 16 BYU versus number 8 Houston at the Marriott Center. We'll have full coverage inside the Marriott Center on KSLSports.com. I'll be back on Monday with Cougar Tracks at 6:30 p.m. right here on the legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. In Minneapolis today, a memorial service for Renee Good, who was shot and killed by a federal immigration officer. The event taking place in Powderhorn Park. Good's wife, Becca Good.
Minneapolis has shown me that even in the middle of grief and fear, people still show up for each other. For that, I want to say thank you.
There's been no apology or saying that President Trump made a mistake amid outrage from Republicans and Democrats over a racist video posted on President Trump's social media page and left up for 12 hours yesterday. The video depicted the Obamas as apes. President Trump says he didn't see that part of the video.
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things, I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine.
Update on today's show anchor Savannah Guthrie's missing mother from ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Investigators have been reviewing a new message about the 84-year-old grandmother received by a local television station. An earlier, still unverified message included a ransom demand and a Monday deadline. And as word of that new message began to circulate, we saw detectives descending on the home. FBI agents spotted on the roof, and they were going door to door in the neighborhood. We saw them examining cameras that were mounted on the roof of Nancy Guthrie's house.
The next congressional hearing about the Jeffrey Epstein files could come up empty, as Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, is scheduled to testify virtually Monday from the prison where she's serving 20 years for sex trafficking. She's expected to take the fifth. Bill and Hillary Clinton calling for their upcoming testimony to be made publicly. Hims & Hers says in a statement it will stop offering a compounded and deep discounted version of a weight loss GLP-1 pill after the FDA indicated it would take legal action against the telehealth company. You're listening to ABC News.
You know, it's frustrating. It really is. You work your tail off for 40 plus years. The government takes 30 or 40% in taxes. Then they turn around and they waste your money. Americans are getting fed up, rightfully so. And that's why they're taking advantage of tax planning. Tax planning could significantly reduce your taxes, not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. Learn how much you could save in taxes when you retire with a free retirement tax savings analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't pay the government one more dime than you need to. Call today, 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get